Talkin Money.
Well, alrighty then. We're back to Talkin Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Right. How you doing? We're just our last segment of the day. Mark Drobny, estate planning attorney, is with us off the text line, and you can text us questions if you'd like at 441140, and we will get you a couple more phone calls in there if you'd like. Got a couple lines open at 339-1140. By the way, our answer to the quiz question: the region ranks number 26 in the nation, down from number 24. Although we did go up in numbers of people, but everybody else went up more, I guess. So we have, according to the census showed us in 2010, we had about 2.1 million. We're now up to about 2.206. So 2,206,978 people are now the official estimate for the Sacramento region for April 1, 2012. So 2.2 million people. I don't know if they're all listening right now, but I'm sure that the last 8 might be at 339-1140. Off the text line, and he said he has a trust too. Is that what our winner said? Oh, you have a trust. Okay, gotcha. Don't confuse me with two things at one time. Two topics at one time. Off the text line at 441140. Mark, I have clients with modest estates, but timeshares in multiple states.
That's why they have modest estate.
What? Hey, each timeshare might have a Kincaid in it, in which case you can eat those words.
Priceless.
Mister. So these don't say whether there's a Kincaid photo painting in each or not, but what complications does this create with the timeshares?
Well, first of all, there's two kinds of timeshares. One where you have a deeded interest and another where you have points.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a deeded interest, then you have an interest in real property.
Okay.
And if you have an interest in real property, then you do need to quit claim that property to your living trust so that it's in your name. If you have points, you don't need to do anything.
Now, what about the multiple states part? Is that
so? If I've got a client who has deeded interests in timeshares in 5 different states, and they die, then we have to open up a probate in Sacramento County, and then we have to open up an ancillary probate in each of those 5 states.
That sounds like fun.
It's going to be extremely expensive, and it's a mess. And so clearly that client needs to set up a living trust and then quit claim deed those timeshares in each of those states into the trust so we don't have to do a probate anywhere.
Okay. So now here's the question I had for you during the break. So I inherit a dozen timeshares, whether they're deeded or points. I get these, they come through the trust, and I don't want them because what I've inherited is
an obligation
of fees on 12 different damn timeshares, and
you're never going to use.
Right, you haven't left me an asset. You've left me a trouble.
Right.
So what are my obligations? What do I got to do?
Most cases we say walk away. You didn't sign that contract that you were going to be making that annual assessment payment, and if you go online and take a look, that timeshare is probably worth less than next year's assessment. The market is flooded with people who are dumping their timeshares. So it's something that has little or no value, and it's an ongoing annual assessment that you have to pay. And millions of people, a lot of people are walking away from their timeshares. And what recourse does the timeshare company have? Virtually none.
Yeah, particularly if you inherited it, right?
Right. And now, if it's my client's timeshare and they walk away from it, then they did personally promise to pay that annual assessment, and they are going to be responsible for that. Whether the timeshare company goes after them or not, it depends. But certainly, anybody who inherits it never made that commitment. And is the estate responsible to pay that obligation? Technically, yes, but in practice, it doesn't happen.
Now, I don't know. I am not a financial planner, and I'm not an estate planner, but people come to me in the course of their lending life and ask questions. And the one that I most often get, particularly as I've been doing more of the reverse mortgage product, is that there is a feeling that, and I would say that it cuts off by about people that are under 70, but over 70, a feeling that they have this desire to leave their house to their kids. I want to leave this house to my kids. So that sometimes that's their rule, their theory for not wanting a reverse mortgage, and so I'm finding a big issue, a conflict there that that I've got either kids that have come back to me where someone has left them the house and it's got financing against it, and they can't afford to even refinance the loan that's on there and keep the house. So they're stuck in a position where they've got some equity in there, but they don't know how to get after it. And I guess I'm getting, what is your advice and what are you seeing? Because I tell the people, I said, look, I'm not in the business of making a financial plan, but if you're telling me you want to leave me something, then you telling me you're going to leave me your house that's 80% loan to value. I have no idea what that means, and I probably don't have the money to go pay it off and keep it. And by the time I settle all this crap out, there's not going to be any equity left in any. If you want to leave me something,
leave me some money.
Leave me a $150,000 life insurance policy, because I know what it's worth on the day you die, and I know how to get it. And beyond that, I don't. You're leaving someone trouble. I mean,
leaving the house to my kids is something that was done 100 years ago. And leaving your house to the kids is not something that we see very often anymore. Is that, number one, your kids probably have their own house. And are they going to sell their house and move into your house, especially if they live in a different community or a different city or a different state? No, they're not. And are they going to want to keep your house for sentimental reasons so they can all come back there for Christmas every year?
Probably, unless they really despised you, in which case they're going to come back and celebrate the fact that you're not there.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're probably not coming back.
So there are those isolated incidences where people do want to keep the house and the family for that reason, to come back as a family compound, to come back for the holidays, but it's extremely rare. And the older clients think that they remember back to when their parents died or when their grandparents died, and keeping that house in the family. But our world has changed, and that just doesn't happen hardly ever anymore. But with a reverse mortgage, you can keep the house in the family. I mean, when you die, the bank doesn't, quote, get the house.
Right.
The house has to be sold, and what's left on the reverse mortgage is paid to the bank. And if there's any equity left, we do get to keep the house.
Right. And there's
those proceeds.
And there's one other little provision
that's a common misconception.
Right, it's huge. I'm selling my house for this amount of money. It's worth more. You're not selling anything. The other thing is that for those who do want that property, and this happened to us this year a couple times. And in the example, the reverse mortgage had a $150,000 balance on it. The house was worth $78,000, but the daughter
walk away.
But the daughter wanted it.
Why?
Because it was a sentimental house to her. So what she was able to do was go to the reverse lender and say, there's a little provision in FHA's rule that says you can buy the house for 95% of the appraised value.
Wow.
Because FHA will cover the loss. So she was able to get that house for 95% of the appraised value.
Wow.
Now, you could still say, well, I don't want it anyway. I can buy any house. But she wanted that house.
And I mean, if you could have any house, I mean, that's what I ask my clients. If your child could have any house in the world, is that the house they would want?
Right.
Okay, well, then we need to draft the estate plan that way. But if they would rather have the money to go buy any house they want, and it's not your house, then let's give them the money to buy the house of their dreams.
Right, I agree with that. Okay, so we got 2 minutes. Two things I want to bring up. One, why do you not want to die on December 31st, 2012, or why do you don't want to be sick?
The estate tax is, if you die this year, the first $5,120,000 in your estate is exempt from estate tax, and on January 1st next year, it's only $1 million. So the same thing happened in 2010. In 2010, there were 0 estate taxes for people dying in 2010, and we saw people saying, keep me on life support until January 1st of 2010 and then pull the plug. And we saw people also saying, if it's December 2010, and hurry up and pull the plug.
Yeah.
Because the exemption was supposed to go back to $1 million in 2011. Obama cut a deal with the House where it's $5 million for 2011, $5,120,000 for 2012, but on January 1st of 2013, it's anything over $1 million is taxed at 55% when you die.
Yeah, so don't be sick on that evening if you're in that sort of.
Your
and
kids
also,
will push you off the bridge.
And then you get, and I've never seen this before. You just gave me this plastic card. You carry this card in your wallet. This is in case of a medical emergency, pursuant to my advanced health care directive. Please contact the following people. And this you carry in your wallet.
And all of our clients carry those in their wallet.
In case they're incapacitated. That's a very interesting card. I haven't seen that before anyway. So Mark Drobny, if someone wants to get a hold of you. And they're not at the Kings game. They don't find you in your purple shirt 6 rows up with 2 less seats this year. Where else could they find you?
Call me at 419-2100.
Do you guys have a website on your law firm?
www.drobnylaw.com. There's no E in Drobny. It's DROBNYLAW.com.
That is it. Mark, thanks so much. Can we do this again maybe during the summer?
Anytime. Thank you very much for having me.
Yep, that was fun. And hopefully you got something out of that. And if you did not, you weren't paying attention. And if you did, and you want to catch us again, I'll have it replayed on Monday on the Talkin Money Facebook page. You can find me during the week at jefftarbell.com. And we'll see you next Saturday, buddy. Have a great weekend and have a great Easter.
Thank you.
Enjoy your weekend. Aloha.